Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is on this little baby right here. So this is the Mini Gold palette. I believe that's what that's called. The Mini Gold palette from Natasha Denona. It retails for $25 and has 5 shades in here. So look at how tiny that little palette is. Like, it's so cute. We're gonna do this look today, and then I will also tell you guys how I feel about the palette, and then at the end of the video I do point out, I just bring out a couple palettes that I have that have similar colors, and I swatch them and compare them for you guys. So might as well just go ahead. Oh, before we get into it, so it retails for $25 and you can buy it at Sephora. I believe you could probably buy it on their website as well, but it's one of their smaller palettes, and yeah, that's basically, I mean, super self-explanatory. Little tiny baby palette, retails for $25. Super pretty golden and green shades right here, like very pretty. Alright, so that's about all I have for you guys as far as information goes. If you want to see how I got this look and you want to stick around and see comparisons, swatches, and all of that fun stuff and see how I feel about this palette, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so we're going to be super bright today. So I have my ring light and there's sun out, and I actually kind of like this. So let's go ahead and get into the look. I already did my left eye, and I'm just going to show you guys how I got that. Oh my god, I have concealer or something everywhere. I don't know how I do that. I really don't. Like, it actually is everywhere and I don't know how. Okay, and then I'm just going to point at the shades. I'm not going to call them by their names. They do have the names on the back, but there's 5 shades in here, so I think you guys kind of will understand. Alright, so we're going to start with this like olive green shade. So this one right here. Yeah, let me just show you guys closer. And we are actually using every single shade in here today, so that's always nice to be able to use all of them. Okay, so my hair didn't even want to do a messy bun today, so I've got this weird contraption in the back of my head. I don't really know what it is or why it's doing that, but normally I do like a giant messy bun on the top of my head, and occasionally it looks cute, but today was not one of those days. Right, so let's just bring this green shade up a little bit further. Okay, and then we're gonna use this shade right here. We're just kind of using that to buff out the green shade. And then I'm just going to take a clean brush and kind of just blend in a little bit better what we just did, and then we'll probably go back over it. Okay, so that's pretty good for now. I'm just going to take my NYX glitter primer. I always want to call it a glitter glue. I mean, I guess you could call it a glitter glue, but just put the glitter primer on your eyelid, and then I like to bring it up past where my eyelid creases as well. Because we're going to bring the shimmer shades up a little bit further than just the lid. And then we are going to dip into all 3 shimmer shades. So we're going to start with the lightest one, which is the one in the middle. So it's this one right here. And I'm just going to use my fingers to do this for the most part. It's pretty. It has a decent amount of glitter in it too. Alright, I'm not going to worry about the corner of my eye just yet. And then we're going to use the other darker green shimmer in there. And it's this one right here. It's definitely darker in person than what it's looking like right now on camera too. It's not super dark, but it definitely does look darker than what it shows on camera. And then you just want to kind of tap that over top of where we ended the first shade just to blend them in together, and then we're gonna take that out further. towards the end of the eye, but not all the way out there. And then I'm gonna take the darker shimmer shade. I have like, oh, that's what it is. So I accidentally used too much of the glitter primer earlier when I did this side of the eye, and it's literally like everywhere now. But we're gonna take this shade right here, and that's gonna go on the outer portion of my eye. And then same thing, just kind of tap it into where we left off with the other shade, just so they're nice and blended. And I feel like these shades blend really nicely together, and they make like a perfect little gradient of shimmer too. Like that looks really pretty. Okay, and then I use a brush that's somewhere, I don't know where it is. I wish I had like an unlimited supply of brushes too, because a lot of the ones that I have in front of me right now are from my past videos, so they're dirty and like have colors on there that I would not be able to wipe off. So I'm just taking that first shade that we used and taking it on a brush and just bringing it up my eyelid a little bit more, and then in the inner corner a little bit more. I think this kind of went a little bit further on the other eye. Yeah, I brought everything up further on the other eye for some reason. So I'm just gonna try to mirror what I did on the other eye. So I'm just bringing the shadows up a little bit further. So I'm gonna dip into all of the shadows. Okay, and same thing, I'm just gonna take the shades that we already used in the beginning. So I'm gonna take that matte green shade, gonna buff everything out, and then just, since I had to bring everything up my eyelid more, I just wanna add more of that color because I probably lost a lot of it when I did that. And then I'm taking the lighter, more taupe shade and placing it where it was as well. Alright, so that's basically it. This is a very, very simple look. And I'm just going to take that the matte olive green and run a little bit under my eye. But I'm not going to do too much. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a little bit more of the lighter golden like green and just bring it down a little bit further. Alright, and that's basically it. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup. I haven't decided if I'm going to do eyeliner. I think I'm just going to do mascara and then some other things, and then we will talk about this palette. And then I also want to take some time to compare it to some other like olive green palettes that I have, just to see how similar they are, because I haven't done that yet. And I figured if you're on the fence of buying this palette, then you might want to see it swatched to palettes that you could possibly have. So I'm gonna finish up my makeup and then I will be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I'll just wrap up how I feel about this palette really fast, because I don't really feel like there's that much to talk about. So this is a milli. This is a mini palette. It retails for $25 and you get 5 shades. So that's what, like $5 a shade. Really, I mean, the shades are really small, and you kind of look at it and you think, you know, is the price justified? And then the one thing that I thought of too, although this palette is beautiful, is it similar to what I already have? Do I have anything like this already? Before I get into that, because I do want to do some swatches to kind of see if there are any palettes and any other colors that I have that might be similar to this. But before I do that, the quality was great. Like, everything was really easy to work with. The shimmers were really pretty. The mattes were easy. I have no complaints about this. Like, it's a gorgeous palette. I kind of wish there was another color in here that was a little bit darker, like a darker matte. But overall, I mean, even though you only have 5 shades, I feel like there is a variety of things that you can do with this palette. It is really pretty, and one of the best things too is, like, I mean, look how small that is. It's not even, it's smaller than my hand, you know, like, so it's great because you can put this in your purse if you want to, if, you know, it's very travel friendly, so that's great. But yeah, I really don't have any complaints about this palette. It was really pretty, super easy to work with. Like I said, the only thing that I kind of wish is that there was another matte that was a little bit darker, but I mean, with all of the eyeshadows that I have, it's not like it's, you know, if I wanted to deepen this up with a different color from a different palette, it wouldn't cancel out like this palette at all. Like, does that make sense? Like, it just because it doesn't have one shade, it doesn't mean that it's not worth it. But that's just the one thing that I kind of wish that it had. Other than that, everything was very easy to work with, and it is a pretty palette. I don't have any complaints about it. But the one thing that I was kind of thinking of is like, do I already have these colors? Do you already have these colors? Do you need these colors? Do you need to spend the $25 to get these colors? If you already have them, do you already have them? So I'm kind of gonna go, I grabbed a couple palettes just to kind of see if there's anything that I have that could be similar to any of these shades, you know, just kind of go from there. I don't want to spend too much time on it because this really isn't like a dupe video or anything like that, but you know, I feel like green tones are really popular right now, and I have a lot of shades. I have a lot of palettes with shades like that in there. I don't actually think that I have anything that's really, really similar to any of these. I was kind of trying to see if I had anything. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I kind of dipped into a couple palettes that I have in front of me. So this one, my index finger, is from the Natasha Denona palette. The middle finger and the ring finger are from the Kaleidos Makeup Green palette, the Sci-Fi Green palette. And then this one is the green shade Sahara from the Earth and Ocean palette by e.l.f. So there are definitely some similar shades in there when you're thinking of more like golden tone, shimmery green colors. This one is probably the most different because it's mainly more of a golden tone than a green one, but with that one excluded, I mean, no, there's not like direct dupes in those shades, but yes, they are similar, so it's kind of like, you just kind of have to think about it. Like, if you have these palettes, the Gemini palette, the Earth and Ocean palette, the Sci-Fi Green palette from Kaleidos, do you really need the same shades? If you haven't tried Natasha Denona and you want to try their formula, and you know, $25 for their palettes really isn't bad. I know it's only a small range of shades. There's not, you know, it's just 5 shades. So, but you could try their formula without having to basically rob a bank. I don't know. But you could try their formula without having to, you know, feel super guilty about spending too much money or trying to justify whether or not it's worth it, because, you know, $25 versus like, I think their big palettes are like $130. I don't even have one of their big palettes. Like, I have the other, like the medium palette. Like, it's a mini palette, but like it's not as small as the one that we have in front of us, but it's like this big compared to like the other ones. So, which that one's $65, and then the one that I have today, the gold palette, the mini gold palette, is $25. So it's like $25, $65, and then $130. So if you just want to try their formula to be able to say that you have some of their products and you've been wanting to try them, then this is a good option for you. But I'm just kind of going through, let's see. So again, this is the second shade in the palette. So this one right here. So my index finger is the one with the Natasha Denona on there, and then the middle finger is a shade from the e.l.f. palette, which is Fuji Feels, and then there's another shade in there that's kind of similar, it's just a little bit lighter, so that one's on my ring finger. So, you know, I mean, I can go through this all day and kind of show you guys like what shadows I have that are similar to it. I'm just gonna kind of finish up with the olive like matte shade. Okay, so the first two are from the Kaleidos palette. The ring finger is from the Natasha Denona palette. So, you know, that's basically you know, kind of my general gist of things is like, you might already have these shadows. Like clearly I had enough green palettes that I didn't necessarily need this palette. I do like their formula, and the $25 is definitely a price point that I'm more comfortable with versus buying like, you know, the Metropolis palette. So, you know, it's kind of like to each their own. If you don't already have these shades and you've been wanting to kind of dabble into them a little bit, but you're not super comfortable with working with green shades or like golden shades or anything like that, like maybe, you know, I'm just gonna keep on rambling on, but you know, if you don't already have something like this, then I do think it's worth picking up. But if you do have any of those other palettes or something similar to those, you may not actually need this unless you're really buying it for the formula, basically. Anyways, that kind of wraps up how I feel about the palette. Overall, it is a good palette. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if you guys liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.